Hey, hey. Welcome everybody to Miss Glow's Kitchen, where there's sugar, spice, and everything nice, where we slice, dice, and entice, using everything we can, from peppers to allspice. What's up, my people? Y'all know what time it is? See y'all in the kitchen. Creole breakfast shrimp with grits on our menu today. Alright, so I'm going to very quickly tell you what I have here, but I'm going to list it in detail in the description box down below. So what you see here is onions, bell pepper, garlic, shrimp, Creole seasoning or salt, cayenne pepper, tarragon, diced tomatoes, and parsley. Alright, so I'm going to list everything down below as I said. Hit that like, that subscribe button, that bell for notifications, and hit that share as well. Now, y'all know what I always say. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. So let's get to it. So I'm not going to show you how to make the grits on camera. I have another video actually that'll teach you how to make grits if you don't know how. So teach you how to make them in a really quick and easy manner. Alright, so I got some grits ready right here. What I'm going to put in here is a little chicken bouillon, the better than bouillon instead of the cubes. But if you've got the cubes, just grind them up into like a powder, like a fine powder. So I just usually break it up like with a knife or something, and just stir it in here until you get it all distributed through your grits. Now you do only want to use a little bit of it. That bouillon can get a little salty, so you want to be really careful with that. Now what you want to do is you want to season taste until you get it exactly like you want to. Don't just throw everything in there and then all of a sudden you have it's too salty and you can't fix it. You don't want to do that. Okay, so just make sure you put a little bit of that bouillon at a time, or a little bit of salt at a time, season it, and then taste it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use slices of American cheese, and I'm going to use some shredded Parmesan cheese. You can use cheddar, smoked Gouda. You can use any kind of cheese you want in your grits. It just depends on what you like. So it's not going to switch up the flavor of the actual shrimp part of it. All right, so it's just going to have the grits like you like them. So put whatever kind of cheese you want to put in there. So again, I put in shredded Parmesan and slices of American cheese, a little milk, and a little margarine or butter. Okay? Alright. When I tell y'all this is quick and easy, that's what I mean. You know when I'm using shrimp, it's going to be quick and easy, because you cannot cook shrimp all damn day. It's not going to work. Alright, so the hardest part of this is probably the grits. It's going to take you the longest. After that, easy peasy. We're gonna throw these ingredients to the recipe in here, and we good to go. All right, now to a pan you want to add some butter or margarine, and you want to add a little olive oil to it. You can use corn oil or some other kind of oil too, so that's perfectly okay. It's not gonna mess up anything or change anything. All right, so to that you want to add the onions, the red peppers, and the green peppers. Now here's the tricky part to this, or tricky part for us. You're gonna cook this down to where you like it. I like my vegetables cooked a little bit longer, but if you like yours kind of crispy and a little bit closer to the raw side, it's okay if you do that. So you're going to tailor make this dish to the way you like it. Alright, so I'm going to cook my peppers until they're almost sort of like I always say an olive green. And when they're like an olive green, they're good for me. And you have to make sure that the onions are translucent, for me anyway. So if you want to cook yours for a little less time, then that's fine. That is okay. Alright, so you know what? Season every step of the way. So here, got this in here. I put a little Creole seasoning, as you saw. So you want to put a little bit of salt here, a little bit of pepper if you're going to use pepper. I'm using a cayenne pepper, so I'm going to wait until later to do that. But if you're using like a white or a black coarse ground pepper, then you can put it in right here. So Creole seasoning, and we're going to let this go. So we're going to let this go until these are translucent. But the trick to this is you don't want to burn this. So if you leave this on a high heat, if you do, you better be constantly stirring it. I don't recommend that you do it on a high heat, but if you do, then I'm going to tell you to constantly stir it as if you stir in a wok. Alright, so take this down to a medium heat or a medium low. And you're going to let this take its time. Now, if you're in a hurry, you're in a real big hurry, then medium high will work. But if you do medium high, like I said, you want to keep stirring. First thing that'll burn on you here are the onions. They will burn around the edges, and you'll get that taste in your dish, so you don't want to do that. Alright, so here, this early, you don't want to put the minced garlic either. Garlic will burn. It burns very quickly. If it does, it's going to leave a putrid taste. You're not going to be able to use the dish. Do not put your garlic in this early. I'm so serious. Alright, so let's let this go. We're going to keep stirring it for a little bit. Keep stirring it. Keep it in the flattest layer if you can, like a single layer if it's at all possible. So if your pan is big enough, you want to keep it in a single layer. However, you do want to keep stirring this because you don't want the ones on the bottom ready, and then if you have any on the top, they're not ready. So you want to keep stirring this so that these all get ready at the same time. All right. So it's very important that you do that. If you are doing this dish for breakfast and you are doing it like on the spot, right there, your family's waiting, your friends are over there waiting. It's a pretty quick dish, and yes, you can do this. Now, the other thing I have to point out here is if you are looking for a dish with gravy, some kind of gravy, tomato gravy, brown gravy, any kind of gravy, it's going to go over your grits, and this is not the dish for you. Because there's no gravy in this dish. What it is this mixture with the grits and then an egg, any kind of way you want your egg. So this is not meant to fill up a bowl with gravy for you. Not going to happen. Nope. So you can tell right here. Because after this, the shrimp and the seasoning is going to get put in there, and no, there will be no gravy. Right? Alright, so once again, I stirred it back into a single layer again. Okay? Back into a single layer, or as flat as you can get them in the pan. Alright? So you want them cooked uniformly. Alright, that's me checking. I was trying to make sure my camera just wasn't getting too hot up there. So I ran my hand across it. Cool though. Alright, so single layer. So while your single layer is going on, you want to get your pan out for your eggs. So as you can see when I showed you the ingredients, I already have the eggs in a bowl waiting. So toss that salt and pepper in your eggs, or whatever you like to put in your eggs. Toss it in there really quickly. But you want a pan on the side of the stove, because when this is ready, you need to get your egg ready. Because naturally, the grits are already ready. What you saw me do is put in the milk, cheese, all that kind of stuff. So grits are ready. So you want to make sure you want the grits to get cold. Alright, so now here's another variation to this dish. You want to bake those grits. If you want to bake them, it's fine. You can put them in the oven about at 350, long enough to melt your cheese. The other thing is if you want to mix all of the cheese and everything into your grits, and then you want to put a layer of cheese on the top, and you want to stick it in the broiler on low. You want to stick it in the broiler on low. Do that. It's going to give you another variation to this dish, so it's going to give you baked grits. If you're going to bake those grits, though, you do want to put a little bit extra milk, or if you used heavy cream, a little bit extra heavy cream. And when I say a little bit, that's what I mean. You don't want soupy grits, and you do not want to drown your grits. You don't want them running all over your plate, okay? Don't need a stiff grit either, so you need it right in between there. You understand what I'm saying? So you need them nice and creamy, in other words. All right, got it? Yep, I know you do. All right. Single layer. So I'm going to come back in a moment, and I'm going to stir this again. The reason why. So I'm taking my time. It's cooking. I'm letting you watch it cook, but only because I have it on a medium low. But if I had people waiting for breakfast, naturally, or brunch, then naturally this would be on a higher heat, and I would already be stirring them to get them ready so I can get them on the table in a timely manner. All right? So you want to stir this again. So I'm just taking a look at it. I'm trying to make sure. Because as soon as these onions are translucent and my green peppers, for me, turning olive green, then I'm ready to go on to the next step. But like I said earlier, if you like yours cooked a little less, then you move on to the next step a little earlier than I would, which is perfectly fine too. So I want you to know that that is perfectly fine. Okay? All right. So I'm trying to keep them sort of in the center part. I know I have this this triangular shaped pan, but I am trying to keep this in that single layer, but spread out as much as I could. All right, because we don't want some cooked before the other ones. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the shrimp for a minute. While this is cooking, let's talk about the shrimp. Now, if you want to use really small shrimp, not those salad shrimp, I don't recommend that, but if you want to use the 3140s, or if you can find some a little smaller than that, you want to do that so that you get shrimp in every bite and it fits in your spoon or whatever, then you can do that. Now these I've used, they're 1620, so they're rather large. You do not have to use these large shrimp. You can use any size shrimp you want. So I'm telling you that before we get to it, any size you want. This is minced garlic. Now, you notice with this recipe, I'm going to put measurements down below in the description box, but I will eyeball, because I sort of know how much I want in here. So I'm eyeballing the garlic, I'm eyeballing the tomatoes, because this dish is only for 2 people. So if I was making it for guests, for company, then of course I would use the entire recipe like the one that I'm going to list down below in the description box. All right. Get some more Creole seasoning in there. You see what I'm saying? Those tomatoes in there. Now, what you want to do here, now that's tarragon. I'm going to eyeball the tarragon as well. But what you want to do here is you want to get your seasonings put in here. When you get your seasonings put in here, you want to stir this very well. And when you stir it, you want to taste it. And I mean it. Now, that's cayenne pepper. Now, if you like your dishes a little spicy, put a little bit more. Now, if you like a little spice, put a little less. And if you like no spice at all, then leave the cayenne pepper out and use black or white pepper. Don't use any red peppers or any chili peppers, if you know what I'm saying. Chili-based peppers. All right, so you want to get this stirred up really well. And at this point, you want to taste. If it's perfect, move on to the next step. If it is not, adjust your seasoning. So add a little bit here and there as you go along. Don't get so heavy-handed. Don't get so heavy-handed. If you do, then you make the mistake of over-salting this dish and it'll be ruined. No good for you. So you don't want to do that. So be very careful, and that's anytime you're cooking, though. You want to do that. You want to make sure you're tasting along the way. All right? In go the shrimp. So that's perfect. I don't have to add anything else. In goes the shrimp. Now, get this all stirred up. You want to get these shrimp in a single layer. Don't leave them on top of each other. If you do, then you're going to have some shrimp that are going to get ready before the other ones. So you want to mix this really well. But once you mix this really well, you want to spread this back out to a single layer again. Remember, please listen to what I'm saying. Don't pile your shrimp on top of each other. Have them all in a single layer so that they all get ready at just about the same time. You do not want some of your shrimp pink and some of them gray. You don't want that. Because if you do, then the ones that are pink, you're gonna overcook them by the time the ones that are gray get ready. So you want these to cook at about the same pace, around the same amount of time. All right. So you see this bubbling up around here. It's bubbling up. It's giving it to us, and it smells so good. It smells so good. But even a beginner can do this. This is a quick and easy dish. So again, I say if you haven't hit that like button, please do so now. That subscribe. All right, you want to share, and you want to hit that bell for notifications so you will be one of the first ones to know when I put a new video up. How about that? All right. So again, I'm going to toss this. I'm going to toss this in with the veggies. I'm going to stir this up really good, but watch this. When I stir it up, I'm going to put it right back into a single layer again. Yep, right back into a single layer. I want to make sure. So I'm going to make sure I'm turning them over because I see a couple of them. All right, so if you can look almost at the bottom left hand right there, you can see that shrimp is a little bit gray. A little bit, okay? So we just want to make sure we have pink shrimp coming out of this pan. Nothing gray, nothing raw. All right, so you can see it's cooking, it's bubbling, it's going, baby. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Woo, it smells so good. So good. And let me tell you, I tasted those grits. Let me tell you, with that chicken bouillon and ooh, and that cheese. That's all I can say is And all I can tell you about those grits is my son is a very picky eater. He ate a very large bowl of those grits and scraped the bowl. So let me tell you, I won't steer you wrong. Let me tell you. All right, let me tell you, this dish is almost ready. So now you'll start prepping because you know what you need after this. The grits are ready. The breakfast shrimp, the shrimp are ready. So now you know you have to get the pan ready for the eggs. So you want to get your oil, your butter, whatever you're going to use to make your eggs. You're going to start getting it ready. So again, I say right here, you're watching me turn these over. I'm trying to make sure I have no grated. These are all cooked, but they're all cooked uniformly. And at the same time while I'm flipping these, you will figure out how you want your egg. You can do scrambled. You can do over easy. All right, I did mine over medium. I didn't do over easy. I didn't want the yolk running out. However, that is delicious. I do do over easy eggs. Sometimes I like them. All right, but I did an over medium this time. So you can do that if you want to. Now, I'll tell you something. Even if you want to do a boiled egg on the side of this, you can. It'll work. This is so damn good. I mean, you can just... the sky's the limit. You can do some things with this. And so the other thing is, if you're not a grit eater, you can eat this with rice. It'll work just fine. But to be honest with you, you can eat this by itself. This is a really good dish. So you don't have to have the grits or the rice with it. Not necessarily at all. All right, so you see I got some oil in the pan. So at this point I have vegetable oil and I have some margarine in the pan. So you can use whatever you normally use to cook your eggs, and it's fine. There's no wrong or right way. If you know how to cook eggs, you do. So if you know, you know. All right, so okay, get this hot. All right, and as soon as this is hot, let me tell you, we're going after it. I'm going after it, honey. Because this is the last component of the dish, the egg. And by the way, if you don't eat eggs, it's perfectly okay if you leave the eggs out of the dish. So if you don't eat them, you don't eat them. All right. And this is really good. This is breakfast shrimp. But I promise you that if you want to use chicken, turkey, or even beef in here, you can. It'll work. Still going to work. You're still going to get that tomatoey flavor all in that meat. So you don't necessarily have to do breakfast shrimp. You can do breakfast chicken, breakfast steak, breakfast turkey. Do whatever you want to do. Sky's the limit, baby. You know what I always say. It's your kitchen, your rules. Believe me on that one. All right. So I'm prepping, getting ready, but meanwhile I'm trying to let this get hot enough so once I put my egg in there, flip it over a couple times and we're good to go. And which you don't. Because when it's over easy or over medium, you just need to flip it once. But if you don't get it as done as you would like, it's okay to flip it again. See, I broke one of my egg yolks, but that's okay. All right, so as soon as we put those eggs in here, we're going to come over to our plate of grits. As you can see, I put them in a plate. Put them on a plate, rather. And it's just waiting for everything else. So that egg is going to take all of 1 to 2 minutes to get ready, which is perfectly fine. So here, you know, just getting to look at the grits again. I say cheese, and it'll vary whatever kind of cheese you want. If you want to bake it in that skillet after all and put cheese on top of it, you can. So you can do breakfast shrimp with baked grits. All right, so you can broil them, you can put them in the oven, you can do whatever you want to do, or else you can use your grits just like I am. I did not bake them this time. However, I have had this baked and it's really good. All right, but if you do that chicken bouillon, you do your cheese. All right, but if you don't use chicken bouillon, then make sure you salt your grits and make sure you salt them well, but taste them. Don't over salt. Okay. All right. Got that. So here. All right, I'm trying to get an egg a couple more minutes, and then I just want to show you how I plated it. All right. All right, so we're up to the plating part for real. All right, on goes the egg. All right, as I said, that egg is over medium. So if you want to do sunny side up, scrambled, any kind of eggs, you can do it. All right, so over medium was good for me. Now, next to that over medium egg and on top of those grits, we're going to put that breakfast shrimp mixture. Look at that. Tomato shrimp. Ooh. Yes, look at that. And it smells delicious. I cannot wait. Okay, look at that. That's beautiful. I like a good looking plate with food that tastes good. I just do. All right. So careful with the plating. Make it look pretty. This tastes delicious, so make it look as pretty as you can. Now, trust me on that one. Make it look as pretty as you can. All right, check that out. All right, so here we go for presentation purposes. Clean that plate off. So if you got it up there around the edges, clean it off. We eat with our eyes before anything else. So once we see something that looks delicious, looks beautiful like this, we want it. We want to eat it. That's dried parsley. All right. Sprinkle a little bit of dried parsley. We got fresh parsley. Chop it up. Chop it up kind of fine and sprinkle it over the top. Green onions. You don't have to. You can omit green onions and the parsley if you want. If you want to eat the dish without a garnish, you can. All right. So that's it. That's our dish, and here's what it looks like up close. Baby, when I tell you that this look good, smells good, baby, most of all, the most important thing, it tasted good. Y'all better go make this. Go make it right now. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time. As always, I appreciate you. Hit that like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.